Hi crafty friends, it's Donna here from Donna is Playing Paper, and I have a set of 5 cards that mix and match techniques and elements from one stamping and die cutting layout. The stamp that I'm going to use today is called Lots of Leaves, and I'm also going to use its coordinating dies. First, I've laid out my stamps onto a card front. I'm going to stamp those with a Copic friendly ink. I've stamped 2 identical panels, although you can only see one in this footage, and I'm going to leave those stamps in my MISTI because that will help later to have them in the same position. And then I'm going to cut those out using the matching dies. The dies for this set come connected by a thin piece of wire, but I have a little pair of wire cutters that I keep hidden from the family that I use for just this job. Once these were all cut, I've removed them from the dies, and I'm going to do some very basic colouring on those using some greens, which I'll do off camera. Next, we're going to make a blended green background. I've pulled out a bunch of different oxide inks because they blend so beautifully and thickly, and I'm going to just mix them around, spreading them across the page until my whole card panel is covered. Once that's had a little moment to dry, I'm once again going to stamp my leaves onto it. I still have them sitting in my MISTI, which is going to make things very easy for me in just a moment. Once they're stamped and that ink is dry, I'm going to replace the dies into the holes on my first sheet of card. Once that's done, it's simply a matter of layering up the 2 panels, which were identical, and then I'm just going to stick them together with a little piece of tape around the side so that nothing moves, and run them through my die cutting machine. And voila, we have the coloured pieces. I'm being careful as I punch these out to also save the couple of little bits from between the leaves because I'm going to use those later. Now, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this panel, but I knew I wanted to replace those holes with some of my black and white images. And were I to do this again, I would definitely just glue it onto a piece of paper and glue those bits in. But because I was still feeling my way around what I wanted to do, I used double-sided tape on the back, which turned out beautifully, but it was a bit of a fiddle. There was a lot of backing tape to take off. The sentiment for this card comes from the Bright Days Ahead embossed cut-apart sheets, and I'm using one of the big square sentiments that says Happy Birthday. There's our first card. But what we have left is a bunch of die-cut leaves, both ink blended and now Copic coloured. And I'm going to mix and match those to make a bunch of different cards. I'm using Australian-sized paper today, and so I'm using Australian-sized stitch rectangle borders for all of my cutting of my layers. I'm also using gold foiled embossed sentiments from the Celebrate Sentiments pack. And these I've cut using a banner die. Originally I was going to do some cards with the ink blended leaves and some with the Copic coloured leaves, but in the end I liked a mix the best, and so that's what I've done. Once I'm happy with my arrangement, I've put a piece of press and seal on there to hold it in place until I'm ready to glue it down all as one. And then once I have my panel made, I'm using scrap packaging to layer it up just to give the card a little bit of dimension. I made 4 cards in total using these bouquets. The first 2 use these Celebrate Congratulations sentiments and some gems of different colours. I'll link to everything I used in the description box below. The second pair of cards have stamped sentiments. Thank you for your kindness comes from a stamp set called Daisy Days, and the congratulations sentiment comes from the Tulips stamp set. Here's a look at all those cards. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you're inspired to grab out some foliage stamps and get creating. Feel free to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe. Bye for now.